All right, hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Jeffrey Powers here. I'm taking a couple seconds to fix some of the problems I'm having really quick. But welcome to the show. Jeffrey Powers here with Geekazine and Geeksmack. This is the Geeksmack pre-show, and it's over at Geekazine. Here we are, and hopefully lots of things will change. I'm going to try something really quick here.
This is the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. This is the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here.
Yeah, that sucks. So everything is now plugged in. So I was playing with this. In the last couple weeks, you guys have been talking about the skipping of the live stream and the programs, and I figured it was probably just the wireless. So I'm shutting all Wi-Fi off, and I'm hoping that that's going to help with Wirecast's ability to push this over to YouTube. Because if I was to record this without streaming it, I could actually it wouldn't have that skip. Like for instance, you'll see this one right here. Let's do the Geek Smack open. And it shouldn't be doing that. And like I said, if I turn off the stream and I just simply turn around and hit the record button, it every now and then, every very now and then, it will skip, but doesn't do it as bad as it does when I live stream. And I want to do the YouTube live stream, so I guess I'm going to Wirecast and saying, "Hey, Wirecast, what up with that?" So, hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here. You are on the pre-show for Geek Smack at Geekazine. Go over at geekazine.com. I have my fake soda stream here, so I'm hydrated. I've got the press pass to put into the Hall of Badges and a whole bunch more. So we're just doing some pre-show stuff, and of course the episode is for today is called. Let me just pull up a couple things here. Episode today is called "It's a Great Time to Get Yourself Some New Technology," for back to school, basically. So we're going to talk about back to school and all the cool stuff from back to school today. We've got a big lineup of stuff, and we've got a couple new parts to the show, including I'm going to talk about the Chromecast. I'm going to talk about my Google Glass experience, and yeah, there's a possibility I might be taking this pair back. I have an Android phone. Now, I've been using this Windows phone, which, by the way, the Windows phone sucks. I hate it. Can't afford an Android. I do have an Android phone, but it's on Sprint. I'm on AT&T. I can't use. I love that Android phone. It's the LG Optimus G. It's great. It's responsive. It would do everything I need it to do. So I use it as a tablet because I got it from a promotion. I said, "Hey, can I keep it so I can do some testing?" Because I didn't have an Android phone. And they said, "Yeah, go ahead. It's ours. When you're done, ship it back." So that's all well and good. So now I use it as a tablet and instead because I don't have like a Kindle Fire or an Nexus 7 or anything like that. And it works well as a tablet. You just throw it in airplane mode. I'm probably going to unlock it so I don't get those messages saying, "Hey, you need to connect up to your carrier," and so, and unfortunately, I can't switch it over to AT&T. So, tablet it is. I don't have a problem with that. It's kind of nice because when Jennifer takes over the iPad, I have something to check Google Plus on, my Facebook on, without having to pull up a computer and go from there. So, but anyway, Google Glass, I hook it up to the Android, and there's an option called My Glass where you can actually see on the Android device what you see on Glass. Well, I was going to try it for This Week in Google Glass last night, and all of a sudden my glass went completely wacko, left, right, wacko, and then shut down. Now, I had that same problem while I was in California, and I thought it was just a dirty lens because there's a part when you take off the glass, you hear a little sound because I have it set up. Right here is a little sensor. You see that little black line? That's a little sensor. So when I put my finger over it, it says that it detects that there's a face there. When I take it off, it's gone. It's to help save battery. So I have it on, and when as you can see, the little light just turned on with the time. So I thought that was that. So I wiped it clean, and all of a sudden it worked again. And I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking at this point it's overheating to the point it just has to shut down, and it went through this really weird shutdown phase. Whereas all of a sudden, every time, like when you snap a picture or when you take off the glass, put glass on, you get a little audible tone on the side here, and it just went like a asteroids game, and it shut down, stop, and then blank, shut down, shut down, a little max headroom action or something like that. I don't know, but it was really weird, and so I think I think I got another defective pair. However, it works, and there's a couple reasons why I need this week. So after this week, I'm going to go back to Glass. I'm going to say, hey, not cool at all. What's up with that? Give me another pair. Come on, give me another pair. If this is the first time that you've come to the show, thank you very much. This is the pre-show. This is only going to be found on youtube.com/Geekazine. If you go to youtube.com/Geekazine, you can check out, it's kind of my vlog before the podcast. And then when I podcast, you'll have the regular show. I talk about everything. And I scratch my nose a lot because it itches like the bejesus. So that's what's happening there. But Google Glass on head and show it ready at the ready. So come over every single Tuesday. We try and do this about 2 p.m. Eastern time, just a little bit after lunch because you're kind of rearing back up into the game. You're sitting back down at your desk. It's like, hey, I want to watch something or listen to something. Here's something live on Tuesdays. And that's Geek Smack, the pre-show, and then it's followed by Geek Smack within here. So I'm going to talk a lot of vloggy stuff, and then we'll get into the tech news. Because we got some tech news. Of course, we're going to talk about Jeff Bezos buying the Washington Post. We're going to talk about all the cool deals. That's the main subject, is we're talking about being a great time to get new technology because of back to school. They've got a ton of deals. Apple just announced a $100 gift card when you buy a Mac, $50 gift card when you buy a iPad. So lots of great stuff here. And of course, we've got our regular stuff. And of course, I went to California and the nth generation system. So if you go up to youtube.com/Geekazine, you will see that up on the account. But I also, interesting. Let's do this really quick. Whoops, wrong password. So I went to California and the nth generation symposium. I did some videos. You'll find that up on youtube.com/Geekazine. But I also got to go to Disney World because it was at the Disneyland Hotel. So I showed a few of these photos last night at This Week in Google Glass. Everything I took, with the exception of It's a Small World, I took half of it on glass. I took the other half on my Nokia 900 because I ran out of juice. Simple as that. I just ran out of juice on Google Glass. So I'm going to show you this. So we're going to go into here, and we're going to go into here, and you're going to see some of the pictures as I talk here really quick. California was awesome. I got a nice video of the Cars ride, the Radiator Spring ride, and I tried to get video of Space Mountain, but it was completely dark. And so I couldn't believe it. It was ridiculous. I didn't like the idea that you go on a roller coaster and you see absolutely nothing. There were stars passing by, but it's like, they're stars. That's it. There's nothing else. It's kind of ridiculous. So I did not like Space Mountain at all. I loved Radiator Springs. There was a story attached to it and then a ride. Even some roller coasters have some cool stuff. I'm from the Midwest, so I've been to Great America at Gurnee, Illinois. You ride the Demon. You go through that tunnel, the light tunnel, which is pretty cool. I just want to be entertained, not more than just a ride. This is the Iron Man suit, by the way. They have a whole Iron Man section in Tomorrowland. So I wish I could have put it on. That would have been awesome. They had a virtual session where you could put it on. So lots of cool stuff. It was my first time at Disneyland. So I had a lot of fun. A lot of people, of course, we were there with a lot of bloggers. So we went in, and after the show, it was like after dinner, we got to go in the evening because we had passes, and then and we just rode the rides. And the coolest thing, I think, is riding a ride at about 9 o'clock at night when the sun has gone down. It's not as hot. There's no wait lines. You maybe 15 minutes at the most. We rode California Aviation. We rode Star Tours. We rode Buzz Lightyear. It's a Small World. We were on the ride and going. And then of course once fireworks are going off, those rides are pretty much empty. You can go to Pirates of the Caribbean. You can go here, there, and everywhere. It's awesome. So lots of cool stuff. If you haven't gone to Disneyland or Disney World, you should. But hey, it's all about the dinero, and a ticket in, I believe, is $135. I had a special opportunity to go. I went, and of course, I got a lot of video. I have the post up on Geekazine that talks about it, all the pictures, all the video, and more. So, Nth Generation, like I said, we did a tech day before that. So if you are in IT, you want to know a little bit more about 3PAR from HP. And the flash storage arrays, the 7400 series, they've got them there. We've got them up there, so you can check that out from here. Jennifer got me a new office chair, which I haven't put in. My office chair, which is over here, is here. Let me show you. This is my office chair. Right here. There's my office chair. Yeah, it's a little bit messy over there, but basically, it's breaking. It's falling. It's literally falling apart, and which is really funny. I need to reposition this webcam now. But what happened was she had a friend that moved to California, and they wanted to get rid of some stuff. So we picked up a chair and a TV and a couple other things. So I'm really happy about it. The chair. I just haven't pulled it out of the car yet. So. Thank you to Jennifer for doing that for me while I was away. She was also here making sure the house was good and my internet connection was awesome and the cable was still on. So, hey, we also spent some time this weekend after a full week of doing video and stuff like that. Even though I was in Disneyland, it's still a lot of back and forth. I mean, there were a couple times I actually left the park, went back to the hotel room to make sure some videos were uploading, to make sure that I wasn't missing any important emails or anything like that. So I did that, and I came back, and so and then I went back into Disneyland. So, but on Sunday we went over to a friend's house. We just relaxed. It's been a long week, and the one thing that happened was I did get hacked a little bit, and what they did was they hacked my Hootsuite account, which is great because they didn't hack any of my Twitter accounts. They didn't hack any of my Google Plus accounts. They didn't hack anything like that. They got into my Hootsuite, and then they posted something about fresh fruit that went to a BBC article, but I think it went through a pass-through Target or something like that. It was a tiny URL link. I've removed as many instances off of there as possible, and then I said, hey, my Hootsuite got hacked, so if you see anything about fresh fruit, don't click on it, and went from there. So and I'm really happy because they didn't get, I don't think they got any passwords. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they guessed my Hootsuite password, but maybe, well, any password. I mean, I use high encryption passwords. Any password can be hacked. So just because you have like the full 256 encryption type password, which is something like 16 characters with 2 uppercase, 2 lowercase, 2 symbols, that can still get hacked within time. They just need the time to do it. So, and apparently they got in my Hootsuite account and posted something. So easy as that. I'm glad it wasn't as a whole because that was easy to fix. So, all right. Well, I think that's it pretty much for the vlog part of it. The what's going on. If you have any questions, Geekazine is my Twitter handle. Geekazine@gmail.com is the email address, and the hotline 608-205-4378. Check out some of the other shows. The Day in Tech History, which is one of the sponsors for the show, which I think I have to check here. Let me check my sponsors really quick. This is the Tech Smack part. That's the GoDaddy. You get the Wowazine for 35% off. And then, of course, Geek Smack. Boom, just like that. And that's Day in Tech History. So, yeah, that's right. We're good there. We've got that. We've got that. And then, of course, Geekedia. We're going to talk about World War Z for Geekedia of the week. So it looks like everything's there. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to see this logo. And you're going to see it for about 5 seconds as I start the recording, start the show. So stick around. Here we go. This is Geek Smack episode number 269 for August 6th. Yeah, August 6th, 2013. It's a great time for getting new gadgets for back to school. Or maybe not if you're not in back to school. So let's get started for this week.
This is the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to Geek Smack episode number 269. It's a great time to get some technology for back to school. We're going to talk about how you can get some cool discounts on your gadgets, your gizmos, and your what's nuts for back to school, even if you're not going back to school, and how you can do that. We're also going to talk about how Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post, and is it going to be part of Amazon? We're also going to talk about what Apple's doing and what's going on in Microsoft, and burgers that are made in a lab and cost $325,000. We got that and a whole bunch more. We're brought to you by our friends over at Wirecast. We're brought to you by GoDaddy, and of course, the Day in Tech History. Daily tech history every single day. Let's get started with your Geek Smack for this week. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like the lab rats smack the geek out of a hamburger patty. Wow, we've got a lot of cool stuff here. We're going to talk about it. And, of course, we're live over at YouTube, youtube.com/Geekazine. You can check it out where I talk, I spend about 10-15 minutes on my vlog section of the podcast. And so I just go through that vlog. You don't see this on this part of the show if you're not watching that link, that specific link. If you're watching from Geekazine.com, no matter where you watch, no matter how you watch, you're watching, and that's the most important thing. All right, hey, it is Tuesday. We are now in August, and August means back to school. And we're going to talk a little bit about back to school and some of the deals you can get back to school and how you can score some of those deals. Some of the things I did talk about on the vlog, going last week, I was in California for the Nth Generation Symposium, and of course, I got to visit Disney World. I showed some of the pictures that I had from Disney World. It was awesome. Also, how I got hacked into Hootsuite, and some weird posts showed up on my Twitter and Facebook accounts. Twitter reset all my passwords. So I basically had to delete a whole bunch of posts, reset passwords, and then tell Hootsuite, bad kitty. Hey, we also, let's see, Jennifer also got me a new chair. I showed that on the vlog there. My chair's kind of falling apart. It's just breaking. I've had that chair for years, and it's now starting to break apart, and I'm going to put in this new chair. So I thank Jennifer for doing that. And then, of course, we spent a couple days downtime, had a lot of fun. Now it's time to get back to work. This week in Google Glass, of course, we put it up last night. We talked about driving in the UK with Glass. As you can see, my Google Glass is back, but it might be shipping back. Another the reason why to watch the vlog. This is the first time that you've come to the show. Thank you very much for coming to the show. We record this every single Tuesday for Wednesday consumption. You can eat it with your eggs. You can eat it with the sausage. You can even have some toast. But if you're gluten-free, you can have some of that gluten-free toast. That's pretty tasty stuff. I know firsthand. I've had it. It's awesome because Jennifer's gluten-free, and I've been gluten-reduced, which means I don't eat that much bread. But when I do, we have some gluten stuff, and it's great with Geekazine. Spread some Geekazine on it. Nom, nom, nom. Tasty. Simple as that. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, it's time to get into episode number 269. So Put your tray tables up. Make sure that those belts are buckled. Pull on that little yellow strap to make sure that the belt doesn't come out of the holster. And let's get ready for this adventure in Geek Smack. Or Tech Smack. Of course, the first part is brought to you by our friends over at GoDaddy.com. GoDaddy.com is a great way for you to get your domains, a great way for you to get your hosting, a great way for you to get SSL certificates, a great way for you to be online. You've got that domain, you want to start your own tech podcast, you want to start your own show. That's great. You need a domain. How do you get a domain? Well, you can just go to the front page and start typing in names, see if they find it. They'll do back ordering. I was waiting for a name. I was really hoping that they were going to domain fade it, but they ended up re-reserving it, and I got a notice from GoDaddy saying, hey, your back order, they just re-reserved it. So I still got the notice on it. So that means that if in 2015, when they decide that they don't want it anymore and they fade it out, I can get it from there. So I'm on the wait list, and that's pretty cool too. Lots of cool stuff that you can do, from email to SSL certificates and a whole bunch more. That's over at GoDaddy.com. You get 35% off and, help me keep my lights on by getting content from Geekazine, from Dorkazine, from Sportazine, and all my other web properties by simply using that code WOWAZINE. WOWAZINE. Just remember that. WOWAZINE. Think magazine, put in a wow. You got WOWAZINE. And that helps me keep my lights on. So thank you very much. And that's over at GoDaddy.com. All right, let's start out over at, interestingly enough, the Huffington Post, to talk about the Washington Post and Mr. Jeff Bezos. Washington Post is sold to Amazon, and Jeff Bezos, he says that he is going to make this, it's not going to be an Amazon property. It is going to be a separate property than that. Yeah, right. And you're going to open up your Washington Post and you're going to see so many Amazon ads. He's going to subscribe to his own affiliate program, and then he'll have the Amazon ads there and go from there. $250 million. He just basically, no, I'll just do Washington Post. So pretty interesting stuff. I can't wait to see what Jeff Bezos does with the Washington Post. I'm guessing that the print version is going to get even further reduced. The online version is going to get beefed up, and yeah, there's going to be Amazon links on there, of course. And even though they're separate, they're not really separate. So we'll see how he does that. So congratulations to Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post. We'll see how that goes. Of course, you all know that my favorite publication, The Onion, the one that actually started here in Madison, Wisconsin, they closed shop when it came to printing the paper. And so, and that was sad, and that happened 2 weeks ago. And it's just a question: when do the other paper publications start going the way of the dodo? Because it's going to happen. 50 years from now, print publications, you'll have little local rags, and that's it. I don't think maybe there'll be a USA Today. Maybe tablets will just be so simple to make. You'll grab a tablet, that's your paper. When you're done, you'll put it back into the newsstand as a recyclable tablet. I don't know. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think that's the way we're going to go? Do you think we're going to have little pieces of paper that'll actually be tablets themselves? Let me know. You can Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com is the email address, and the hotline is 608-205-4378. And I just got a text message from somebody not important. So let's move on from there. We're going to go over to TheVerge.com. A lot of you have been talking about this. It's the first lab-created burger. I think I had this. Yeah, this is set up. Okay. The first lab-created burger. It cost them $325,000 to make this burger right here, from stem cells. And Dr. Mark Post, it was done in London. Dr. Mark Post put it together, I guess led the event. It was a 5-ounce cultured beef burger, 20,000 protein strands grown from cow stem cells. So tasty little burger ground up. I don't know what this means. Does it mean that they can make a cow next, now that they can make the beef? I don't know if I want to pay $325,000 for a burger. I don't know, to taste that burger. I don't know. Did they taste the burger at all? That would be awesome if they actually cooked it up and tasted it. I don't know. Well, I'll check it out and I'll let you know. But if you want to read more, go over to theverge.com for that news article. All right, let's move on from there, going over to, of course, news.geekazine.com. Microsoft Surface RT and Surface Pro models are rolling out. They seem to be rolling for less than $100 less than what they were before. I guess they're just trying to, I don't know, they're trying to sell the RTs. There's a lot of rumor about the new RT Plus, or I'm sorry, Surface Plus that's coming out. So they got to get rid of the RT models and the Pro models. RT is about $350. Pro is about $799. But I want to warn you guys one thing. Just remember, even though Microsoft says that they are a unified system, which means it's the same Windows 8 as on your laptop, as on your tablet, as on your phone, it's not 100% true. Because your laptop either has an Intel or AMD processor. The tablet will either have an Intel, which programs will work on the Intel processor, or ARM processor. If a program is not written to expect an ARM processor in there, it's not going to work. Same thing with a phone. You know, don't expect to load up your favorite apps and programs from your PC into your phone. Just not going to happen unless the company writes a version that supports ARM processor technology. So if you buy an RT, just keep in mind that's the case. If you buy a Pro, the i5 series, you should be able to run a lot of the programs on there. But of course, there's going to be other limitations like disk space, processor, you know, all that other good stuff. But you know, for $799, that's a pretty good deal for a tablet with i5 in it. And of course, $349 if you don't really care about putting a whole bunch of programs on the RT. If you just need it for the simple stuff, Word documents, OneNote, what else? Bing search and all those good little apps from there. Then go for that. So they are going until August 30th with that. So if you want to check that out, go over to news.geekazine.com and go from there. Let's see. Let's load up the next load here. All right, let's go on. Let's move over to Ars Technica. Comcast is working on a new anti-piracy scheme. It's getting beyond their 6 strikes law, which has, 20%? I think it was 20% of where they basically make mistakes. So they're developing a new scheme, a new algorithm, I guess, and they're working with the movie industry. They're working with the RIAA and other music industries to try and make sure that when somebody downloads a film or downloads a song from BitTorrent or another peer-to-peer system, that there's a pop-up message to rent or purchase the same content. And if they kind of pass it and you know they're downloading, I don't know, Transformers or something like that, then Comcast can kind of mark it down and change it, because right now I guess they have a 6 strikes law. And don't download the movies, first of all. Simple as that. You know, if you really want to watch a movie, get yourself a Prime membership, get yourself Netflix, get yourself something where the movie is going to be on, and get the DVDs. And if you like it, then you buy it then. Cost of living. Anyway, if you want to read more on that, go over to arstechnica.com. Now, if you are one of those people that download movies and download music, and I used, you know, in all fairness, back in the day, I used to do that. I used to get my movies and put them in the DVD ROM slot and make the copies. And then I just had a whole bunch of discs that sat there and collected dust. So I just threw them out. I was done. It's like, I don't watch these anymore. I watch them once and that's it. With the exception of a couple movies, you know, which I ended up buying anyway. So pirating's not the way to go. You don't want that mark on anything. So just kind of forget about it and move on from there. But if you do pirate, I want to know why. With so many options out there for very low price, why do you end up pirating and risking prison, high fines? Why? So let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. This article's over in Ars Technica if you want to know more. Apple's starting a trade-in program for third-party chargers. Now, I like this idea, but then again, I don't like this idea. Example, I have my iPad I have a cable for the iPad. It's a blue cable. It is 10 feet long. And I can use it to charge my iPad while we're relaxing in bed or something like that, and I like it. But Apple, they have that one charger that you can switch it out and make it a shorter cable or a longer cable, and then of course you can switch out the USB plug. So if you have an Android device, you can plug that in too. And that was a 10-watt charger, and I do use that, but this other one it just made sense if the cable was only $20. However, it wasn't made and it's not authorized by Apple, and there's a possibility that those over time could start to deteriorate and start to spark. I do have to admit that when I plugged it into my iPad this morning, I did see a little spark coming out of the side. And so Apple's saying, hey, let's just get rid of those third-party little plugins. Bring it to us, you'll get $10 off on a charger. So that's what they're talking about over on, well, interestingly enough, the WashingtonPost.com. So if you've got those plugs, even if I'm wondering if they'll take the 30-pin plugs, because I actually have one right there that's also it's a Belkin plug, and it's got an extension 30-pin plug to that. So I wonder if they'll take that. So if you want to read more on that, go over to WashingtonPost.com. We've got that article there. Moving from there over to Forbes, has the Chevrolet Volt run out of juice? General Motors has decided to cut the Volt's $5,000 to $34,995, or basically 12.5% off of the price, according to USA Today. Now, the Leaf and the Ford Focus did some price cuts as well. So that makes me wonder, either the batteries are getting cheaper to make, or the cars are getting harder to sell. And if that's the case, then why are we not buying these electric vehicles? Are they not ready for prime time yet? Is there a problem with them? Well, I've driven many of the Ford electric vehicles and hybrids, and I don't see any problem on that. Of course, the Priuses are out in force, whether it be somebody owning it for themselves or a cab company switching over to the Prius model vehicles. It's there. So why are the all electrics not making it happen? Is it the fact of lack of chargers? We just had a grocery store. If you're in the Midwest, there's a company called Hy-Vee. They just opened up a store about half a mile away from me. And they had like 5 stalls on each row that had this. It was like reserved for, and it had an acronym on it. It was basically electric vehicle. However, they didn't install electric charging posts. So after a couple weeks, they actually scrubbed off the print off the road, and they're just regular parking stalls. I'm assuming at one point they were going to put charging stations there for people that did have electric vehicles, but maybe they just saw it and said, we don't see anybody with that many people with electric vehicles, so maybe it's not a good idea to put it in, or maybe they just ran out of money. I don't know. So it does cost a little bit to actually put in a plug in your house, especially if you don't have a garage. You have an outdoor situation. I park outdoors in my place. I don't have a garage. So I'd actually have to put the charging station and then run a wire underneath the concrete back to the house to do it properly. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you have one of these vehicles? Or do you think that they're not ready for prime time yet? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. Moving over from there, if you've got a smart toilet, you better watch yourself, because there's hackers out there and they know how to hack into your toilet. Apparently, with a little Bluetooth connection on your Android phone, they can hack into your toilet and send it commands like flush or become a bidet or something like that. There's one where They lifted the top of the toilet and it spit out water, and you don't want that. I know I don't want that. But then again, I don't have a smart toilet and probably won't have one for a while. So if you do have a smart toilet, watch out. Put some security on your Android app. Don't run with the Bluetooth open. Or maybe it was the Bluetooth on the toilet, and they were hacking into that. So either way, watch out for that and make sure that your toilet hasn't been hacked. I don't know. You can read more on that over at Mashable.com. All right. That does it for the first part of Geek Smack. We're going to get you into the second part of Geek Smack really, really quick here. And then, of course, I'm going to be talking about how you can get some cool deals during back to school for some of your technology. And we'll do that next. Of course, this part is brought to you by my other podcast, The Day in Tech History, over at www.dayintechhistory.com. Had a small little problem with the Twitter handle where it wasn't posting the episodes on Twitter. Got that all fixed now. Some of you were wondering about that. You say, did you stop doing the Day in Tech History? No. Day in Tech History podcast every single day. Lots of cool stuff. You can also get it over on your Android App Store through Podcast Box, and of course you can also download it at the Windows Store now. We have it set up there so you can get the Day in Tech History right to your device every single day. Of course, August 6th, when we record this, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they made that very important announcement that where they were joining forces for at least the next 3 years, so Apple could stick around and Microsoft would help them out. They bring Office over. They gave them they bought 150 million in non-voting shares, and they shared technology for the next 3 years so they could keep things going. And of course, Apple would have to have Internet Explorer on their Mac OS systems. And you saw what happened from there. Steve Jobs came in and said, hey, let's just change the game and give you an iPod, give you an iPhone, give you an iPad. And Microsoft went, wait, what? Huh? What happened? Of course, that happened on August 6th. Find out what happened on August 7th by downloading the episode over at www.dayintechhistory.com. All right, let's move on from there. We're going to a new section we've got is called Geekpedia of the Week. I think I said Geekpedia. I meant Geekedia. Geekedia of the Week. Today, we're back over on Amazon.com. It's only for pre-order just now, but if you haven't seen this movie, it's awesome. It is World War Z with Brad Pitt and Morel Enos and Mark Forrester, about a guy who's some sort of special forces person that needs to go back into the infestation of zombies and go to the source and find a way to cure all these zombies or make a vaccine so other people won't turn into the zombies. Awesome movie. It actually changed the way I thought about zombies and how they did things a little bit differently, because zombies don't care about other zombies. They care about themselves. And they showed that on this show, and that's why I liked it so much. I think, and they're talking about a sequel. I'm not really happy about that, but with the sequel, well, we'll see what happens with the sequel. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. It's for pre-order, so check it out. And of course, every time you click on that link, it helps Geekazine, and I thank you very, very much for that. All right, a couple other news sections. We're going to talk about the Google Glass update, and of course, we're going to talk about the other thing that Google came out with, and that's Chromecast. Now, I'm a big proponent of Roku, over-the-top television set-top boxes. When Chromecast came out, I was just like, ooh, forget Nexus 7. Chromecast, $35, turn a regular TV into a smart TV. If you don't have any set-top boxes for $35 and a smartphone or a laptop or a PC, you can do that. That's awesome. So I ordered my Chromecast. I actually got it last week while I was in California. I started using it on Sunday. So far, so good, but I found myself going back to the Roku for now. The reason why, I could do YouTube, I could do Netflix with that 3-month free membership. They're great apps. However, my other apps are missing. like for instance Hulu, and I can easily get them up on my Roku. That's why I went back. So we'll see what happens. Once more apps start really showing up into Chromecast, then I'll be able to use it. I haven't really used it with my Mac yet. So, and of course I've got the Chromecast software installed on the MacBook. So we got that going, and then of course I'll try that out this week and then let you know from there. Google Glass, as I was speaking, somebody texted me, so I got to respond to that. As you can see, you can have it set up like that, which is pretty cool, and you can turn all that stuff off. So if you don't want to get bombarded with text messages or SMSs or anything like that, then you can turn that off in the My Glass application. So everything's done on the PC or an iPad or something like that. You go to a specific landing page, and then and then you turn on and off what you need to. But while I was in Disney, I basically went around and I took pictures from there. I did have a problem with my glass, and like I said with the vlog at the beginning on youtube.com/Geekazine, you can find out what happened there. I thought it was a quirk, but it happened yesterday while we were doing This Week in Google Glass, and so I might just, it doesn't totally affect the glass right now. I can still use it. I think it's an overheating issue. So I've got a couple things I need to show it off for, and use it for, but then I'm probably going to get my third pair of Google Glass from Google. So we'll see what happens from there. All right, let's get into your Tech Smack for today. We got the update. If you have any questions about Chromecast, if you have any questions about Google Glass, let me know. Twitter me at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. All right, let's move back into your tech news for the week. Freedom Pop is a dongle or a Wi-Fi hotspot. That's actually, you get it for free. You get like 250 megabytes for free. And then if you want to go over that limit, then you have to pay. It's a nice little MiFi. I might just have to look into getting it for Google Glass since I don't have tethering on my phone on. So, and they just announced that they are supporting 4G LTE on the Sprint network. So you can get the Freedom Spot MiFi 5580 hotspot, and they're going to launch more devices with more carriers coming up. But if you are a fan of Sprint, then you can get that from there. If you want to read more on that, go over to cnet.com. Moving from there, we're going over to VentureBeat and their gadgets area. This is really cool for the smartphone. There's a company called Crossbar, and they've upped the flash memory to the point where they can actually put a whole terabyte onto a chip. And they've increased the speed by 20 to 22%, I think. I think it's somewhere around 20 to 25%. It's a $60 billion market, and these things are the size of a postage stamp. So your phone, which does have a piece of memory in here, or your tablet, which also has a piece of memory, instead of having two pieces of memory, it'll have one piece on it that'll run a whole terabyte. So in the next 5 years, we'll have smartphones that have the ability to hold more information and pass it through faster, and that's pretty cool. So they've announced this. You can read more on it if you're an IT person. If you're into the insides of the gadget, check it out over at venturebeat.com. All right, let's move over to PC World. LinkedIn has made some adjustments to their mobile app, where you can now search for jobs a lot easier on the LinkedIn app. On the Windows phone, it sucks. It's simple as that. I miss my iPhone and the Android phone. One of these, I mean, eventually I will. It's just, $600 for any good Android or iOS phone. And even with the 5C rumored to come out in the next couple months, that's probably going to be $300 to $400 out of contract. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm lucky to have a smartphone that I reverted back to. I didn't have to pay a couple $100 for another phone that I probably would have been even more disappointed with. But as I go, trying to keep the lights on, trying to get shows out to you guys. If you want to throw out any donations, you're more than welcome to. My PayPal is geekazine@gmail.com. Feel free to do that and go from there. But LinkedIn is now got the phone into a job hunting mobile machine. So if you want to do some job hunting, I'm actually doing some new jobs because sponsors are kind of thin this time around, and I'm looking for some doing some community managers positions at some companies. Anything that's like 10 to 20 hours of my time, so I can still focus on the direction that I'm going with Geekazine and with my other properties. So if you want to read more on that, go over to pcworld.com. And like I said, I'm going to be looking at that a little bit more. All right, let's move on from there. We've got a couple more articles, and then we'll get you into the main subject about getting technology for cheaper prices. I'm going over to a website called Damn Geeky. And they've got an interesting article about a backpack. Now, if you've ever had a backpack, when I go traveling, I have a backpack, I have my camera bag, and I have my roller bag, and I have the tripod that's sitting on the backpack, and it causes a little bit of stress on the zippers. So at certain points, I take off my backpack, and I notice one of the zippers just kind of open itself up. And there's a lot of pickpockets out there. They see a piece of technology. It's like, hey, I can turn around, I can grab that technology, I can run. He would have no idea. And some people put their passports into a bag like that, and I think that's silly. But hey, to each their own. Well, apparently there's this company that wants to put up this backpack that has a bunch of security to it. It's from what I understand, it's not out yet. The person is Tanya Blanco from Spain. And she's tried it out. They want to create a backpack for around $24 or something like that. It's got this backpack has some special zippers on it. Let's see if we can. Here's one of the other pictures here, and it's got, as you can see, it's got a little piece right here on the strap, which I guess is a zipper, so you can put in stuff you need, like maybe an ID. But there's a zipper underneath the backpack. You see that little black line? That's actually a zipper. And what that does is that can hold your passport and stuff like that. So a pickpocketer wouldn't be able to get to that zipper. They could only get to the stuff inside. And as you can see, there's no visible zippers there. So I think this would be a nice camera bag. So we'll see what happens and how it progresses within time. But if you want to read more about it, go over to damngeeky.com. Damngeeky.com, of course, we'll have all links in the show notes. And you can go there over at Geekazine.com. Moving over to Todd's site, Geek News Central. I did write an article for him on Catch Notes and how Catch Notes is going bye-bye. Catch Notes, I talked about it on iPad 365 about last year. It's basically a competitor to Evernote where you could write notes, you could tag it, and then you could search on those tags. So Catch Notes is closing down. They're going in a different direction. I give you some alternatives to Evernote if you do not like Evernote. There are 3 competitor alternatives that you can switch to. So congratulations to Catch Notes. Or, well, I don't know if it's congratulations. Maybe they're going in a different direction because they're going to make more money doing that. So Catch.com is still around, but Geeks.com is not. And if you go over to Geeks.com, you see this. After 17 years of service, almost $500,000 worth of computer products in the hands of loyal geeks worldwide, jobs for hundreds and peoples, and support for their families and members. That's why Geeks.com meant to us and the people who worked here. Words cannot express our gratitude for the relationship, blah, 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 blah. And they said, as of today, we are turning off the ordering on Geeks.com. We want to sell and ship products. We will cease to sell and ship products immediately. We've stood behind our products and intend to stop now. And as you go on, they infer that it is Amazon that has put them out of business. There's a lot of websites out there, like Geeks.com, Tiger Direct. You have Overstock.com. You have a bunch of different companies out there that also do the same thing. And they're going to say, oh, Amazon, the big conglomerate, the 500-pound gorilla took us down. I call that bad business. That's why you went down, not because of a 500-pound gorilla. That's why we still have mom and pop shops out there, and Walmart is still there. Even though Walmart is the 500-pound gorilla inside your hometown and going on that mom and pop shops still find ways to do it. If you know your business, you know how to get around that. And I don't like that excuse. So I'm sad to see Geeks.com go, but it's no excuse. You just gave an excuse. Oh, we can't continue because Amazon went. Big deal. Maybe you need a new CEO that could actually do things the right way and turn Geeks.com into the major competitor to Amazon.com. Have you ever thought of that? I don't know. Anyway, if you want to read it, it's I posted directly to it. I'm not really happy about it, about them saying that, but you know, they're trying to get sympathy, and they're not getting any sympathy from me. Simple as that. So anyway, that's sorry about that little rant, but the bottom line, that is the case. Do you have a problem with that? Do you think that I'm in agreement, or are you saying you're way off key, Mr. 500-pound gorillas? They come to your door and they'll knock and they'll go, "I want you down," or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. Do you have a 500-pound gorilla for sale? I'll pay $1 for a 500-pound gorilla. I always wanted a 500-pound gorilla. Not on my back. That would kind of hurt. But anyway, we will be back. And of course, we're going to talk about how you can get technology for cheap now that everybody's going back to school. And we'll do that next. With over 700 channels to choose from, the Roku should be part of your entertainment center, and the price is great. You got channels from Amazon to Netflix to Hulu Plus, and of course you can add to your pay channels like HBO Go. You also have Disney for the kids. You have tons of ways to entertain people. Not only movies, but you can also have great games, such as Pac-Man, such as Galaga, and of course, Angry Birds. And that's all through the Roku entertainment system. Now let me show you one channel that's in particular near and dear to my heart, and that's over here, the techpodcast.com channel. If you go to the techpodcast.com channel, you go into the video and you go into tech news, you will find not only iPad 365, Geekazine's special media feed, and then of course the show Geek Smack, all on your Roku right there. So check it out. Prices start at $50 to no more than $100 for all this great entertainment. Do that by going over to geekazine.com/Roku. That's geekazine.com/Roku to get yourself a Roku player and start watching movies, start watching content, and start playing Angry Birds over at geekazine.com/Roku. Before we go into the main subject, I want to do this one thing. I forgot. It's been sitting on the table the whole time. This is the actual badge for the Nth Symposium. And, of course, we put this into the Hall of Badges along with all my other badges for CES, South by Southwest, and many other events. So let's put that into the Hall of Badges right there. All right, now we've done that. Let's get into Geek Smack here. You know, it's a great day to get a new printer. Maybe get yourself a new tablet. How about even a new smartphone? Right now, as we get ready to send little kiddies back to school, or maybe even back to college, it's the best time to get those gadgets for the prices because they're going to be at their lowest. So how do we get these details or these deals? Basically, you're watching your social media. You may not like the ads that Facebook features and their featured posts and stuff like that, but you'll most likely have up to 20, 30% discount, even more, on things like school supplies or some of those geeky electronic gadgets you really wanted to get. Following a company on Twitter might get you a discount on a new phone or a new tablet that you don't even know. They might even interact with you. They'd say, hey, you know, you followed us, so why don't you take this survey on this page and we're going to give you a $10 coupon to use over at our website. Or maybe they'll give you some cool technology that you didn't even know existed. Even Apple's getting into the game. They did this last year. They're doing it again this year. You buy a Mac, you get a $100 credit. You don't get a discount on the Mac. You actually get a $100 credit because you're going to need like a case. You might need a mouse. You might need some cords. You could also buy an iPad and get a $50 card, so you can get a case or maybe some apps or something like that. So you're not saving on the Mac. You're getting extra stuff as you go. Samsung is offering a free Android phone when you purchase a Chromebook for your kids going back to college. It's not the greatest of Android phones, but it's a nice Android phone nonetheless. Brick and mortar stores will especially also be doing this to try and bump up their social media, Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, and get you into their brick and mortar stores. That's why we have American Express that's doing those shop locally type of promotions. Follow a company like Staples, follow a company like Best Buy. They'll send you deals in their feeds. You just have to watch out for them. Talk about them. Say, hey, Staples, do you have hard drives? And they might just respond and say, yeah, and we'll even give you a $10 coupon right here. If you are a company that's looking for new ways to figure out the promotion, simply call up on Twitter and say, hey, follow on Twitter, and you might just get yourself a $5 gift card, a $10 gift card, a $100 gift card. Maybe we'll just give them out randomly. Lots of different deals, lots of different contests that happen on social media as well. Twitter is the best way to offer and get some of those great deals. You friend the company you want to follow. Even if you don't use Twitter for the rest of the year, this could be a great gateway into couponing on Twitter. Don't be afraid to watch Facebook. Don't be afraid to watch Pinterest and any of the other social networks and friend some of these companies. Set a special search. If you've got an iPad and you're using Flipboard, set up a special search for deals, back to school deals, and then favor those companies that actually give you stuff for liking them, for following them. And you might find yourself with some new cool technology for a less price. It's amazing what you can find if you really look for it. And, I've heard many people that do couponing and they end up getting paid to go shopping. And they've got so much food in their pantries that they don't have to worry about where they're going to, what they're going to eat the next night, because they have everything. And so it's pretty amazing what you can do and what you can get back. And gadgets are the same way. And you just have to look for those special deals. What do you think? Have you done some couponing on Twitter? Have you done some couponing on Facebook? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com. And then, of course, the hotline at 608-205-4378. You can also go to youtube.com/Geekazine, do a video response, and then email that to me with the words video response in the subject line. And we'll go from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, that does it for this episode of Geek Smack. I hope we smacked the geek out of you and you got all your tech news, all your information. We do this every single Tuesday for Wednesday consumption. I will be back on Tuesday with another episode. You can watch live over on YouTube. Just follow my Google Plus profile, Jeffrey Powers. You'll find me. And then I will let you know when I am going to be doing live, but it's always around 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesdays. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then. Until then, you guys geek out and get the smack out, because we're going to smack right out of here. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care. And that is the show for this week. Thank you very much for watching live on youtube.com. I'm going to check the analytics here. We've had a few on there, so thank you very much for coming on to the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, Twitter me at Geekazine. If you do it right now, it might just show up on my phone. I'm waiting. There's a 30-second delay, so I have to wait a little bit longer. So if there's anything you want me to talk about, or if you're even a sponsor and you want to sponsor the show, please let me know, and I'll get you a rate card, and we'll go from there. We do this, like I said, every single Tuesday for Wednesday consumption, or once this gets done processing, you can watch it right away. So thank you very, very much for coming to the show. My name is Jeffrey Powers, Twitter Geekazine, or geekazine@gmail.com. You guys have a safe one, and we'll see you next week. Take care.